Hello folks, and welcome to 2017, and welcome to some pretty big changes in my life, not least of which is I'm now married. So, wanted to say a very special thank you to the people that responded to the last video that I made there just before Christmas. And you know, I was really humbled by the some of the comments that that I have kind of my videos and the projects that I've worked on have been useful to people, and I've actually, it seems, encouraged others to take the plunge and build their own electric vehicle. So I'm delighted to hear that. So what we're doing in this video is we're going to be having a look at a new welder that I bought again just pretty much before Christmas, but I haven't even looked at it. Part of the reason for that, and you'll kind of see it as we go along, is that I'm going to be spending a good bit of my time in Cork now, because that's where my wife lives. And one of the advantages of that is that I'm currently talking to some people about actually getting some real workshop space down there, and by that I mean a place that I can bring in a car and have a vehicle lift and heated workshop, all that kind of thing, because I'm really behind on the Panzer project and I want to get that finished off. So if all this works to plan for me, we'll be transporting the Panzer to Cork and putting the new gearbox and battery cells and all kinds of things into it there, with the assistance of a vehicle lift, because I am getting a bit on for crawling around on my back trying to bench press a gearbox into a car. Health-wise, I'm also feeling a hell of a lot better, and again, thanks to the people that wished me well there. Still going to be on the medication for a while, and I still, by afternoon, I'm starting to, the old RPMs are starting to tail off. But I'm feeling a lot better than I had been even as recently as a week ago. So, okay, without further ado, let's go have a look at these welders, and I'll kind of explain to you guys what's been going on in terms of my workshop over the past while. Alright, so I've been tearing out a lot of stuff out of the workshop. I've been selling some of it and creating a big pile of junk outside that I have to get rid of in the next few weeks when I get back from honeymoon. But before then, I wanted to introduce you guys to the first brand new welder that I had ever purchased. So say hello to the SIP Weldmate HG2300MP, which is a multi-process TIG, MIG and ARC inverter welder. As you can see here, it's quite a small suitcase style machine, and I got a welding trolley and a few other accessories for it that we'll be discussing as we go. So why did I do that? Well, as I said, I'm going to be spending a good bit of time now basically traveling between two workshops, what I'm going to be doing here in North Wexford and what I'll be doing in Cork City. So I needed particularly a welding machine that I could transport easily. And what you'll see here, you'll see my old TIG welding plant. It's quite a large beast of a thing. It's transformer based. It's an AC/DC plant, and it can do aluminium as well as steel welding. I also had a MIG welder that was even bigger than this thing, and they both took up a lot of that space that you can see in there now. Now the truth is that through all the years that I had that TIG welder, I never actually once used it in anger to weld aluminium. I did weld some steel sections, and that kind of works for me because the SIP inverter is a DC machine, so on the TIG side of things I will be only able to weld steels, stainless steel, that kind of thing, but I do such little TIG welding anyway that I don't anticipate that to be a major problem. So what I decided to do was to start selling some of the stuff that I had here, because I've had stuff here, guys, from a lot of years, probably about 20 plus years of various projects that I would have worked on. So I kind of set out thinking, well, you know, if I get half the price of the SIP, I'm going to be delighted. The SIP was €700, and I kind of said, if I get 300, 400 for some of this stuff, you know, I'm going to be very happy. So I started listing stuff on the computer on a local, well, kind of nationwide classifieds, and it kind of kept me occupied too when I was particularly ill. And to my great surprise, the stuff just sold. And I was pricing it to sell, but I ended up making over £1,000 out of the various junk that had inhabited this particular workshop. So that was more than enough for me to buy the SIP welder and pretty much a few other tools that I'm going to need. So the big TIG is actually sold. A friend of mine bought this, and he's going to be collecting this when I get back from the honeymoon. So that means then that this is now my welder. So let's take a closer look at it. I haven't actually powered this thing up at all because it's literally just sat here because I've been so busy and various other things. So, as I said, this is a multi-process machine that'll do TIG, MIG and arc welding. Probably one of the most interesting functions of this for me is the fact that I'll be able to MIG weld really thin sections. And that's important when working on car bodywork, because one of the problems I really found, particularly on the drift car project now, is trying to weld the body panels with the big MIG with 1mm wire was just not happening. It was just vaporizing the steel. So this guy will be able to turn down low and do some pretty thin section welding. So why don't I shut up and we'll walk through getting the thing powered up and have a look at what kind of welds it's going to make for me. Alrighty, so just fitted a 16 amp plug to the welder here because that's what it needs. The actual cable on the machine is a 3-core 2.5 cable. Now, what I want to do is I want to have a look at an extension lead that I've just made up. That is this guy. What we have is we have a 16 amp socket here that'll plug into the welder. I have a 32 amp plug that'll plug into my wall socket here. Now this cable here is 6 square. It's actually 4 core, but I only using 3 of the cores in it. And it's a 6 square HO7 cable. It's about something like 15 meters long. And I need this because I'm going to want to be able to use the welder outside on the driveway. So why am I using 6 square cable? Well, as a friend of mine recently found out, welders in particular don't like voltage drops, and they are quite a high current demand machine. So when you make an extension lead for a welder, you should always use a heavier duty or a heavier cross-sectional area cable in your extension lead than what the welder actually needs. I'm not going to go into the details on that, but let's just say had we attempted to run the welder on a kind of generic off-the-shelf lead like that, we would be in very big trouble. Alrighty, so we are now powered up and we are set to arc welding. So we're going to start off with the most basic process. I've dialed up 75 amps here, and I'm going to be running a 2.5mm electrode. So probably about the first thing that I noticed here about it is that the electrode holder lead is quite short, and I had already kind of figured that. So I'm going to be making a longer set of leads for arc welding and also for the earth clamp. So we're also set up here on DC electrode negative, which is pretty standard for arc welding. So let's go ahead and try it out. Just adjust it for a smaller head. Mine's very good. Ooh. Very nice, apart from my crappy arc welding. But very pleased to see the slag is starting to lift up, which is always a good sign. Let's bring you guys in a little bit nearer. Clang. Yeah, see the way the slag is starting to lift up? Ooh, that is nice. Considering I haven't arc welded for a good while now. That's very impressive. Let's give it another blast. I've got to adjust this for my larger scope. There we go. Both problematic having a big head. Wow, that is quite nice. Those electrodes haven't been stored in a dry space either, so that's good. My technique's a bit lousy, but okay. So might as well finish up that electrode. There you go. Bad at all for someone out of practice. Alrighty, so looks like arc welding works. Alrighty folks, we are now set up for MIG welding. So I've got my torch connected up. And one of the things I really like about this machine is that it has a full-size Euro torch connector, as I can see myself needing a longer torch at some stage. And the one that they provide with it, it's decent enough, but I'd say I'll be needing to change it. So I've also hooked up my gas feed. This regulator is kind of crappy, so probably going to need to change that. So I've got the gas bottle on the back of the trolley. I've left the full hose length on here because at some stage I'm going to be using it with a larger bottle probably. And we're all set up. I've got the wire, got a 5 kilo spool of 0.8mm MIG wire set up in there, wire tension set, all that. So let's go ahead and see if we can make a few welds with this thing. This probably sounds like possibly a little bit too much wire. or too little voltage, so I'm going to reduce the wire speed a bit. It is working. It's working quite nicely. So I still think with too much wire, I'm going to bump the voltage up a bit. It's welding quite nicely. More less voltage and a bit less wire. No, not enough wire. Sweet. Alrighty folks, hope you've enjoyed that. We'll be back with this machine again, as I'm going to be practicing some flux core welding. So basically I'm a bit low on gas at the minute, and my original gas supplier is long gone, so I'm going to have to go the road of the expensive rent-free gas bottles now fairly soon. So hope you've enjoyed that, and we'll see you all back later on in the month, I would hope, when I get back from my honeymoon. And thanks for all the words of support, folks, and see you all next time.